Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of This Week in the Shadow, where I pull a card from a shadow work deck. In this case, it's the Dark Mirror Oracle deck by Sava and Ricardo Minetti. And we will dive a little bit into what type of shadow work it is best to do this week, the week ahead, which is the week beginning on November 22nd, 2021. And for those of you in the US, it's Thanksgiving week, which always proves to be challenging when it comes to dealing with our shadows because of the variety of circumstances that can present themselves. We are in the midst of a pandemic, of course, which can exacerbate some of the challenges. So for this week, we have card number 24, which is called Queen of My World, but I want to emphasize that it doesn't necessarily or only refer to feminine aspects, or it's not a card that only applies to those who identify as female or as feminine. It's pretty universal. The moon phase that this represents is the full moon, quite fittingly. We just came out of a full moon eclipse that was pretty intense. And what does this mean? We have found ourselves in the border, at the limits of between two stages of our lives, of our careers, our personal relationships. So we have just, or are in the process of, letting go of a lot of things, a lot of relationships maybe. So the moon is full, but we may still be struggling with issues such as boundaries and limits. And of course, whenever we let go, whether it's because we had to or because we decided we had to let go, it can give way to different types of comments from third parties, people near us, family members, friends, work colleagues, and so on, who can sometimes, in giving their opinion or unsolicited advice, or just their take on something that just happened in our lives or that we decided to let go of, these opinions can create insecurities within ourselves. They can hurt us, they can make us doubt ourselves, and sometimes they make us feel like we might not in the end have the final say in what goes on in our lives, because sometimes these opinions can become full on peer pressure or family pressure that we should do things in a certain way, or that we should abstain of saying or doing other things. So I see this aspect of our personal power to be very challenging this week. We might feel, or we might be pushed into bargaining one thing for another and making concessions. This can escalate quickly into completely losing control of what happens in our lives. So it's important to take this opportunity this week to do some shadow work focused on setting boundaries, on saying no when we really mean it, despite anyone else challenging us. If this is something that we feel that we need to say no to, we should exercise that right to say no, thank you, or just no. And we don't even need to offer an additional explanation. Why? Because this card represents the control that we have on our realm, on what is ours, which is our life, our relationships, our projects. And others might think that we have it all wrong. They might disagree with the way that we are doing things, or with the way that we think, with the way that we live our lives. And that's fine. They are entitled to their opinion, but we don't have to listen to it. We don't have to agree with it. If we feel that what we are doing is the best for us and for those we care about, that should be the end of it. So this is a card about personal power, about taking charge, not letting others make us doubt our personal power, and not letting others step into our kingdoms and do whatever they please, because I mean they have to have our permission. And if they are there uninvited, and if they are there making us uncomfortable, then they need to leave. So that's basically, I know that it's difficult for many of you that are having encounters that can be tense with family, with close ones, but it is necessary sometimes to just, even if it creates havoc and if it makes others uncomfortable, we have to be honest. We have to embrace and own our power and set boundaries and enforce those boundaries. So that is this week's message, this week in the shadow. And I thank you so much for listening. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, share it. And if you saw this on Instagram, also please like and share. I post this every Sunday, and the content is intended for the week ahead. So here's my information of where you can find me, how you can reach me, and I hope that I see you again next week. And I wish you the most fruitful week. It's challenging, but we can do it. Thank you so much, and be well. Bye.